In Napoli, when love is king, when boy meets girl is what they... What? Honey? What the? Honey, what's wrong with the water? God. Oh, man. Oh, what? Hello, honey, there's no water going. Honey, where are you? Can you, honey? No water. Hello?
It's true. You really don't miss your water until it's not there anymore. And there's never a convenient time, right? So what do? Either fix it yourself, there goes your weekend, or you call a plumber, and there goes your kid's college fund. But what if you're a city or a town and your water lines break or your treatment plant fails and you don't have any water? Do you fix it yourself? Sure, but what if you can't? What if it's completely worn out and needs to be replaced? What plumber do you call for that? And talk about, ouch. Or what if you have to start from scratch providing centralized water and sewage facility for a community with failing septic tank or contaminated wells? Hi, I'm Michael McNeely, and today I'm going to walk you through the process of what you do when your city, town, county, whatever needs its plumbing fixed. Fortunately, there's help. Check it out. We meet again. Now, as I was saying, if your well runs dry or your sewage system fails, all is not lost. Help is available. And whether you're going to replace the existing system or build a new one, you start by evaluating the situation, asking yourself a question like, where in the heck am I going to get the money? Now, can you say WASACT? Wow, what? Yeah, you're right, it's an acronym. It means Water, Wastewater, Solid Waste Action Coordinating Team. They are funding professionals, and along with a couple of other ones, let's see if I can remember what they are. Oh, Montana Rural Water Systems and Midwest Assistance Program. They are going to show you how to get the dough, assuming you're eligible.
To be eligible for funding from these programs, you've got to be a public entity, so cities, towns, counties, tribal governments. But if you're a water association, you're a private entity, and you have to form as a county water and sewer district before you can apply to these programs.
Now the thing is, these projects are complex, technically about 100 times trickier than home plumbing, but help is available. If you're eligible, expert help, you must have it. Now what I want you to do is rewind the tape and go over that last part if you're not sure, and then come here, I want to show you something.
To be eligible for funding from these programs, you've got to be a public entity.
Now this is where they're going to be building one of those brand new systems I've been telling you about. If you can believe this, they've been working 1.5 years on it and there's not a bulldozer in sight. My point, these things take time. How much time? Our nifty animated timeline gizmo spells it out. Typically it's 3 to 5 years from when you first realize you have a problem through project planning to completion. Now bear in mind that you're not the only ones applying to the funding agencies, and they have application deadlines you have to meet.
And one thing that you need to be aware of is getting your funding sources lined up. And many of those funding sources have deadlines and are a competitive process. So it's important to talk to WASAC and know when those deadlines are.
Found out in 1996 that our lagoons were overflowing from Montana MDEQ. And they presented it to the district and said, you know, you guys have to do something about this. And at first the district, you know, they told everybody, and people were just, oh God, you know, what are we going to do? How are we going to pay for that? And
Beat you back, check this out. This baby is shot. It's one of those folks had any water left at all. Maybe they didn't. Whoa.
The channel going to our pump station at the lower end of the lake here was so shallow it was only about 6 inches deep in 2000. If we had let that go through the winter, it would have froze solid and we would have been completely out of water. So we had to dredge it out back then, and the DNRC was very helpful in getting us some emergency money to help pay for the dredging to make it affordable to the residents of Conrad.
Not pretty. But I want to go back to those planning grants we were just talking about, because that's your next big move if you want to get rid of this.
Planning grants are available from 3 different programs: the Treasure State Endowment Program, the Renewable Resource Grant and Loan Program, and the Community Development Block Grant Program. You're going to need to hire an engineer in order to do the preliminary engineering, and there's certain minimum criteria that have to be evaluated by state statute when you hire that engineer.
Oh boy, I always wanted to be an engineer when I was a kid. No, wait. I think you need a kind that's good at math. Actually, the engineering firm you hire is going to play a crucial role in your project, crucial as in required by law. But aside from that, these guys not only do the initial planning and design, they help you present your project to the community, without whose support you are dead in the water, assuming you still have water. And it all centers around a little something we like to call the Preliminary Engineering Report, PER for short.
A preliminary engineering report is the cornerstone for any successful project. It's a required component of the uniform application, and if it's done very well, it'll help a project rank higher in the funding process.
The PER is used heavily for providing support for the communities. Most importantly is that most people want to know, are we getting the most bang for our buck? And that have you looked at all the alternatives? Have you considered this option or this option? So the PER does go through that in a very systematic approach. So
It's their project, it's their system. They support it through their user rates and charges their foot in the bill. The more buy-in you can have throughout the project, the better. Even through construction, when the backhoe's laying pipe in front of their house and access to property is blocked, they're going to be more accommodating, more understanding, because they're behind this project. On the other hand, if you don't have the public involved, they don't know what's going on, the delays can be costly, and sometimes a project can be stalled altogether.
Did you get all that? It wouldn't hurt to spell it out. First, you assess the problem. Once you know for sure you've got a problem, then you apply for a planning grant. And the reason you do that is so you can hire an engineer. The engineer studies all the issues, measures, drills, calculates, thinks long and hard, and then gives you a preliminary engineering report, or PER. You use that to inform the public, to whom you've already been talking, about how big a problem they've got and what's going to be needed to fix it. Again, you don't have to do this all by yourself. There's plenty of help available from your new best friends, the good people at WASACT. We'll have lots of telephone numbers for you at the end, so don't go turning off your television before the credits are over. And now, for a short break. See this bushel of bucks? This is nothing compared with what you're going to need for your project. Water, wastewater, and solid waste treatment systems are pricey, no question about it. This isn't real. Oh, Dawn, I was going to take you all to lunch afterwards. The point is, you're going to need some real money before you're through.
These projects are quite expensive. It takes anywhere from $200,000 to $300,000 to millions. We're involved right now in one that's a little over $13 million. And obviously, none of the funding sources have enough funding at any one given year that they can fund them themselves, so it takes multiple sources to fund these projects.
Now, where are you going to get that kind of dough? Chances are you'll end up with a funding package that includes some combination of grants and low-interest loans. We'll get to the free money that's available from grants in a minute. But keep in mind, your community will be bearing some of the burden. And that is why it's so important to get people involved early and often. You want everybody pulling together. Hey, how'd I get over there? I never get used to that. Here we are standing in front of the Capitol, which nicely symbolizes the government agencies you're going to have to apply to for funding. There are 6 of them that will be most helpful to you. Stand by for the official list. The the Montana Department of Commerce's Community Development Block Grant and Treasure State Endowment Programs, the Montana Department of Environmental Quality State Revolving Fund Loan Program, the Montana Department of Natural Resources and Conservation's Renewable Resource Grant and Loan Program, the U.S. Department of Agricultural Rural Development Community Facilities Program, and last but not least, the Montana Board of Investments InterCap Program. Did you get all that? There's going to be a test later. No, actually, here's the deal. Now, you're definitely going to want to apply to all those agencies you're eligible for, but if you're like me, that sounds like a lot of paperwork, a lot of different requirements, different cycles, that sort of thing. This is where it gets good. All those agencies, the entire alphabet soup, have combined their applications into one. The Uniform Application for Montana Public Facility Projects. That's a clinker of a name, huh? But a cool idea. Just fill out one application, submit it to multiple agencies, and wait for the cash to roll in. Actual requirements may vary. Additional information may be required.
This uniform application provides a brief history of the project, financial history of the project, the preliminary engineering, environmental, in essence, the core information required by all of the funding agencies.
Now, some of these agencies have application deadlines. So it's important to stay on top of your own project timeline so you don't lose a year because you missed a deadline. Speaking of which, let's see how our timeline is doing. You see why this process takes a while. It could be a year or more to get your funding lined up. And once you do, you'll have a nice package of federal, state, and local money committed to the process, and you're going to be ready to move some dirt. Well, we're ready to go. Where's my backhoe? Do I get to use dynamite? Whoops, I almost forgot. There's some paperwork left to be done. Okay, you've got your money set to go, now what? Let's see. Oh yeah, you need a final plan with working blueprints, that sort of thing, which means you need an engineer. Ideally the same firm that you use for your preliminary engineering report. If not, you go through the hiring process again, then they go to work finalizing the design. Well, Pilgrim.
Now you're ready to move to final design. When you're working with the community up to this point, or the engineer is working with the community, what they've been talking about is a proposed solution or a fix to a problem, and we haven't really put the details down. Now we're going to put the details down so that we know where every inch of pipe is going, where every piece of equipment is going to run. We know all the things that we are going to need. And final design will help us get all of those components together so that we know what the final project is going to be.
So once you've got all that taken care of, are you ready to start your engines? Not quite. There's still a little matter of hiring a construction company, but we're definitely getting closer. Let's hear what one of WASACT's highly trained professionals has to say about hiring the right company for your project.
For the community, hiring somebody to do the work on their project is so very important. And bid documents with very detailed, complete information save everybody time, effort, and money. If you don't have surprises, they will make it a better project. Your construction company knows exactly what they're in for, and the community knows exactly what they're in for.
That's it in a nutshell, and I mean a small nutshell. There are a lot of details about all these processes that we're not putting in because, frankly, we want you to stay awake. But don't worry, a dedicated WASACT ace will walk you through it step by step when the right time comes. It's all about getting you the best system possible within your budget.
Without all the funding agencies, I'm not sure that we would be here today.
Other small districts that haven't formed yet or they're going to form and have trouble, I would highly recommend that they use WASACT. That I don't know how they can do it without their help, their encouragement, and their great knowledge.
Oh, come on, can't we just start building? No, son, we're going to do this right, or we're not going to do it at all. You said there's going to be bulldozers, and we're almost near the end of the show, and I haven't seen a single bulldozer. That's because we still need a notice of award, a pre-construction conference, construction and administrative management plans, a project schedule, and finally a notice to proceed. We're looking at maybe another 100 years or so. 100 years? Oh no. Well, maybe not that long, but there are a lot of I's to dot and T's to cross on one of these projects, so don't get impatient like me. Let's check out how our timeline is doing again. The construction phase alone, from the time you begin designing to project closeout, can easily be 18 months, assuming you make all your deadlines and hit the construction seasons right. The point is to be aware of how long the whole process takes and get it going early enough so you minimize disruptions and inconvenience to your community.
WASAC is here to help you succeed, and we want to help you through that planning process. There are many experts involved in WASAC, and every one of us is willing to help you with your project from beginning to end.
Our experience working with the WASAC group has been very positive. With all the agencies and groups there at one place, we can contact them. They speak with a unified voice, so it's really been beneficial to us. It's cut our time in researching and visiting with multiple parties and agencies. We can do it all at once with one group, and so we found that to be very beneficial.
It's taken a while to get to this point, and I hope you have more patience than some people. Okay, hit it, kid. There you have it, a jam-packed crash course on how to build your own water, wastewater, and solid waste project without going crazy in the process. Now here comes the part I was telling you about with the names, the numbers, the website, and all that information you're going to need, so keep watching just a little while longer. I've had a good time, and I hope you have too. Let the project begin.